everyone. So this is kind of a bonus episode. This is the supplemental session for JAR Nation. So Scott, can you tell us the company that you work for, how is it organized? Is it a partnership or a corporation? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of that?
Sure. I'll actually talk about my current company, and then I'm going to talk to you about previous companies I've worked for because they're totally different. We are referred to as an LLC. That's a limited liability corporation. But we're a family-run business. So the name of my company again is Fisher Manufacturing, and Ray Fisher is my president. His dad, Ray Sr., was president before that, and we go back 4 generations. We're 84 years old. So for 84 years, the Fisher family has owned this business and has run this business. The way it's set up, we set ourselves up as a corporation. It makes us sound really big. The word corporation means that it's an entity that is incorporated, that's brought together as a whole. And you do this, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but you do this for legal reasons. But we're a family-run business, and it's actually owned by 4 members of the Fisher family. There's Mrs. Fisher, Ray's mom, Ray Fisher, and his 2 sisters. And so all the profits go to the corporation, and then they divide the proceeds of the profits of that year to those 4 family members. Now, we all get paid from the corporation, but I don't own any part of the corporation, so I don't get any of the profits with it. So we're a small company compared to where I've worked at. So I'm going to tell you about another company I work for that you can actually look up online, and that's called Unilever, Unilever. Now, I bet that you've probably never heard of that name, but I'm thinking that if you're in the grocery stores, you can find a lot of their products. If you look on a lot of cleaning products, if you look on the back, it'll say Unilever. The product that I sold when I was at Unilever was Lipton iced tea. And there's a lot of people who know Lipton iced tea. Now, again, Unilever was a corporation. And remember, that's a legal thing that they did. But they were what's called a publicly held company. And what that means is that myself or any adult, somebody over 18 could actually buy ownership in the company. And here's how the way it works with ownership. So there's a thing called the stock exchange where all big companies normally sell shares in their company. And you can go on the stock exchange and you can buy those shares. And every share is a different price. It depends on how big the company is. But the advantage of doing that is that when you buy a share of stock and the company does good, the stock price goes up. Let me give you an example. You could buy a share of Unilever, and let's say they had great sales one year, and you paid, when you started, you paid $10 a share for that. And they had a great year, and so that share the next year would be valued at $11. So you made $1 a share. Now, $1, I know you're saying, well, that's no big deal. But what happens if you own 10,000 shares? Well, that means in 1 year, you made $10,000. So that's a publicly held company. They don't have family members like my company does that owns the product, but all the shareholders, all the people who have bought shares actually own the company. And every year they usually get to meet for a shareholders meeting in which they vote on a board of directors. And the board of directors is who manages the whole company. They're the ones that make all the important decisions for the company and stuff like that. So you can still be an owner in a company, but not have founded the company or not started. You can actually buy shares if they're publicly held. Now, I will tell you that the majority of the small companies that you see, if you're driving up and down the road and you see Dan's plumbing shop and Kathy's beauty parlor, those are not publicly held companies. Those are individual people or families like my company that own it. But then when you see the Amazons, the Apples, the Nikes, the Under Armours, those guys are all publicly held, and they sell shares in their company for owners to own part of their company.
Awesome. That's so interesting. Okay, guys, thank you for following along with us, but I also want to thank Scott for giving his awesome expertise. It's been so educational, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.